Let's talk about overload lines, and more specifically, why you should roll for specific ones and why they're important, but not always necessary. For the most part, whenever you're rolling for lines on a NIKKE, it's going to be one of your best performing damage dealers for any given encounter. Whether it be for campaign or something more niche like a character you only use for solo raid, the rule of thumb is that you should always roll for elemental damage and attack percentage in that order. I have a video explaining the basics of how the damage formula works and why something like elemental damage is so important. So you can check it out if you're interested, or just take my word for it in this video when I say that elemental damage is the best overload line. Attack is a bit more straightforward. Most NIKKEs have skills that scale with final attack or attack, and these attack overload lines will help you scale them. Any weapon damage is going to scale off of attack as well, and most importantly, a higher attack value helps you overcome higher defense values. This is especially important for any of you that are interested in pushing high deficits, and this is also why true damage excels in those situations, because it ignores enemy defense. When attack values are inflated, or you're using NIKKEs for purposes other than high deficit campaign, like let's say solo raid, then that's when crit chance and crit damage become useful. How high exactly is inflated? Well, we can take a look at Archranger Black for an example. While transformed, Archranger Black will self-buff her attack by a whopping 156% at level 10. Leader is an example of a great attack buffer, and her buff value caps at 80% attack, which I think is the highest amount that any support gives any other NIKKE in the game, and it's still only half of what Archranger Black gives herself. And since attack buffs stack additively, something like crit can be more valuable to a character like Archranger Black than going for additional attack lines on her overload gear. You can also roll for crit lines on characters that you will frequently use with reload speed buffers if you want to invest into 12 lines. You may not intend to go for 12 lines, but sometimes you get lucky and hit a 3 for 3 on a reroll, and you should know if what you have is good or not. Now, speaking of reload speed, what about max ammo? Think of it this way. The less time your NIKKE spends reloading in an encounter, the more damage they are capable of doing. That's simple, right? Now consider what teammates this NIKKE will be grouped with when questioning how valuable max ammo will be. Will these teammates buff max ammo, reload speed, or even in some fringe cases, attack speed? If they buff max ammo or reload speed, then max ammo overload lines are less desirable. They're not useless, they're just less desirable. If you're rolling lines for someone like Summer Dorothy who buffs her own attack speed, then max ammo becomes much more desirable. And in a similar vein, any rocket launcher or sniper rifle units that you want to spam attacks on desire max ammo much more than other units, even with reload speed buffers. Consider this. If you're only ever going to use someone like Rappy Red Hood with Crown plus a Resilience Cube and maybe another reload speed buffer, then having only one line of max ammo is going to be a massive improvement. But going for several lines is not going to change much at all, if anything, as long as you're able to maintain fire during full burst every time. Once you've acquired attack and elemental damage lines and decide that you really want to min-max your unit, adding max ammo lines makes those units much more flexible when it comes to building teams around them, which is going to be especially important for using those units in something like solo raid, where you have to stretch the value of 25 different NIKKEs across 5 different teams. And on top of that, giving NIKKEs max ammo lines improves their performance and ease of use, especially if you're not controlling them manually. The AI loves to reload at the worst times, like right in the middle of a full burst or right when it starts. Adding max ammo lines to those units you're not controlling are going to make them a lot more reliable DPS units. So now how about charge speed? When is it necessary to roll for it? The first thing to consider is if the unit has a fixed charge speed or not. If it does, then their charge speed cannot be improved with charge speed lines. This will be explicitly pointed out in some units' kits, like Summer Cinderella for example. Secondly, Since charge speed is akin to attack speed, this will increase ammo consumption, which will in turn make ammo and reload speed much more valuable. So, will this unit be grouped with Nikkes that will provide these buffs? It's never worth it to sacrifice something like elemental damage or attack lines for something like charge speed or max ammo, unless the unit has an absurd amount of attack increasing buffs already. The most important goal for a unit when rolling for charge speed is if it will gain extra attacks during full burst from it, and are those extra attacks more valuable than just getting elemental damage or attack lines. Charge speed is generally a great line to roll for after you get attack and elemental damage, for when you really want to hyper invest into a unit, and even then, you may have to group them with specific units to reach their maximum potential. For most characters, even those that benefit from charge speed, attack and elemental damage lines are going to be more important and easier to build teams around. Charge speed can make units with full charge shot effects feel more comfortable to use, especially if those effects have short uptimes, like with Winter Diesel for example. Even Neon Vision Eye, who has extremely tight windows for dealing her maximum amount of damage, still wants elemental damage and attack percentage over charge speed and max ammo, even though both of those stats are highly desirable for her. So that's a lot of words to think about. What's the short of it? In general, for any high damage dealing character, attack percentage and elemental damage lines will be the most important ones to chase for, and you should try to get both on every piece of overload gear. Max ammo is beneficial for almost all DPS characters, minus ones that have last bullet mechanics, but its benefit is diminished the more you're able to stack reload speed and max ammo from other characters' buffs. DPS units that frequently reload with long reload times should be grouped with reload speed buffers or max ammo buffers. This mostly applies to machine gun units and any rocket launcher or sniper rifle units that you plan to play manually and spam their attacks. Crit damage and crit chance are great third lines or second lines if the unit has an inflated amount of self-attack. Charge speed is good for units with narrow burst windows and units that have tight timings to maintain effects that trigger on full charge shots. But even still, it's better to go for the stat as a third line when you're willing to hyper invest into a unit. Any issues that may be posed when a unit struggles to maintain buff uptime can generally be solved with max ammo lines as well. Anyways guys, I hope this video helped you out, and hopefully you have a better understanding of why certain overloads are beneficial and when you should roll for them. When in doubt, roll for attack and elemental damage. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!